Okay, so let's take a look at our management portal. We have we have the administrative portal and we have the tenant portal. First, I want you to take a look at what our end user scenario might look like. So if I have an account, this is my basic account. You might notice that it looks very similar to Windows Azure. That's because we have access to this platform and we're able to help you customize it for your specific environment. This is not actually Windows Azure itself. This is just the graphical user interface that is available for us to customize for you. So you get the look and feel of something that already exists, and we help you deploy your infrastructure resources into our service management portal. Okay. So let's take a look at some of the subscriptions we have access to. Now, right now, I don't actually have a subscription. I'm not subscribed to any specific plan. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually add a subscription. So in this demo, I have 4 different environments that I can deploy. We have SQL Server 2008 R2, 2012 Service Pack 1, SQL 2014 Community Technology Preview, and we even have Oracle's 12c, which is now certified on Microsoft Hypervisor Stack. Okay, the one I'm going to work on today is SQL Server SP1, SQL Server 2012 Service Pack 1. So I'm going to subscribe to this plan. Okay, and right now I've given myself access to this specific plan. Now, as an administrator, I can actually create rules of who has access to this plan, what add-ons can they add. So it's great for me to talk about this right now. Not only can you subscribe to these different plans for resources within your organization, but you can associate specific types of add-ons. I haven't subscribed to any, but let me look at one of the add-ons I have. This particular demo gives me 2 add-ons for this subscription type. I'm sorry, this one only has the flash storage, but I also have BPE, and I'm going to show you how to associate that when I go into the admin panel. So we're going to add flash storage to this SQL 2012 SP1 subscription. And what that does is when I add the add-on to my subscription, it converts specific databases that I select to utilize their database and transaction log files to be on flash storage, which improves the performance of our database server tremendously. So here you can see that now if I'm in add-ons, I've actually subscribed myself to flash storage. And on this, once I add a database, it actually automatically utilizes this structure. If I add flash storage later on, it can actually migrate those databases onto flash storage for me, so I can get instant database enhancements, okay, instant performance enhancements. I can also, if I am the leader of a department or an application group, once I've subscribed to my plans, I can actually add additional administrators to be able to manage resources within this particular cloud. Okay, I'm not going to add anyone at this point. So now that I have my subscription, now I'm able to add SQL Server 2008 R2 or SQL Server 2012 SP1 resources into this specific tenant. So let's go ahead and add a database. I'm going to add a database. We're going to call it webinar. Oop, I'm sorry. This is the name for the webinar. In this case, I only have one edition of SQL Server enabled, but if I had multiple editions, I could actually select which one I want, and that might help dictate what license. This is going to help dictate what licenses each database resource I have is utilized from. I can also have groups of database servers, and I can choose which group I want my subscription to use. So I might have a clustered environment, which might be my gold. I might have just individual SQL database servers that might be my bronze, and then I may have something that's more fancy that includes some kind of synchronous replication with availability groups. That might be my platinum solution, and that synchronous replication might be occurring between data centers. Okay, so that's how we can apply SLAs within our database as a service. So let's go ahead and create this this database. I'm going to create my own custom credentials. So what this does is it actually creates a SQL user that then gets immediate credentials to the database that I've created. So in this case, I'm going to create another one. I'm going to call it webinar, and I'm going to apply my password. Now this password, of course, must meet the database, the complexity rules that we've set within our organization. So it helps us meet compliance. So here we see I have this SQL Server database that I've created on an existing server. I have a specific maximum size that I set for the plan. However, this can be customizable, and I can even modify this program on the front here to be able to select different sizes, select our collation, possibly select different plans as well if I wanted to do it through the form. So we're very flexible in how we can create this for you and automate this process. Now, once we create our database, we have to think about, well, how am I going to actually connect to it, right? So once we verify, down here we click this little button, it tells us that our database was successfully created, and we say, okay. Now I can view information about this database, and it tells me what is the user that I created, what is the server name that this database is on, and what is the actual connection string that I should use for my application servers or my third-party application, any of them that I need to use. I can use this connection string, plug it into that application, and it'll automatically connect to my database. Now, we might need to do network modifications depending on what our infrastructure looks like. We might need to automate the connectivity between different subnets or things like that. These are all of these network connections can be automated, as well as the deployment of the VM, the virtual machine. We can deploy the database server on, we can deploy the database instance on that virtual machine, and we can deploy databases on that database instance. So we can get very, very granular, very deep into those environments. We also have the ability to expose feedback about suggested indexes. We have also the capability to create those indexes or test those indexes and do a rollback if necessary. So these are different features that we've built within our POC environment that we show you, and we can build that on-premise for you. Here I can change the password of accessing that database, or I can even resize it here by selecting a different size. Now, I have a maximum available, so this subscription only allows me to create 50, but I can increase this to 1 gigabyte if I want. We do that to be able to control the size. Okay, so let's actually connect to this database. So I'm connected here as an SA, but what I'm going to do is just close SQL Server Management Studio. I'm going to open it again, and now it's going to ask me, well, how am I going to connect to this server? So now I know what server I need to connect to. And now I know what my login is. So my login here is webinar03, and now I can put in my password. And so it automatically shows me an RBAC, or role-based access control-based SQL Server environment, where I'm only able to see the resources that I have access to. So you can see here that this is the brand new database that we created. There's no tables, but you can see the security. We have some logins. Both SA and the user webinar03 have been created. This is now a database environment that I can manage. Okay, I'll just show you real quick. I'll create a quick table. That's it. I'm just going to create one column. Okay, we're going to save it. I'm going to call it table 1. And now here we have table 1. Okay, so this is a fully accessible database provision through our database as a service solution. So let's go look at quickly how we can manage doing the plans, managing add-ons. Maybe I want to, this is SQL 2012 SP1, but if I was in SQL Server 2014, we could use buffer pool extensions. Let me show you one of the add-ons that we can build within this environment. So this is our management portal. This is the vanilla management portal. It doesn't include all of the different components that we now have, all the different services that we now expose through the service management portal. Let me show you the user. This was the user we logged in as on the tenant portal. So this particular user has this subscription. They don't have any additional storage utilized. They have one database. It shows that there are no co-administrators, so we can manage all this stuff from the back end. And it shows us that we've subscribed to the flash storage add-on. Then we can go ahead and take a look at the plan. If we have this plan, the SQL Server 2012 SP1, it talks about what servers do we actually have and what add-ons are available. So I can actually link an additional add-on. Let's say, in this one I don't have actually BPE, but I could add an additional add-on with this one. I also have my plan services. This is how many databases that user is allowed to create. What is the size of each database and the maximum size? Maybe I want this to be a little bit larger. I could change the additional size if I wanted up to maybe 500. If we have add-ons acquired, we might be able to do some additional database sizes. So these are all ways that we can add features, but then also get charged back about how those features are utilized. And if we need to, we can resolve maybe the abuse of flash storage, or we could improve our networking throughput, or our IOPS even, which is a major would be a major improvement in environments. So here I can save this. So I can, all of these features are customizable, so I can define what is the add-on, what is the service, what are the maximums and minimums I need in each of these configurations, whether I'm the tenant requesting them or if I'm the administrator defining them. So you can see the subscriptions that are associated with this SQL SP1. You can actually go and configure some additional components. I can actually add more configuration components in here, and I can even implement things like language and have some XML exports that I can use for doing either chargeback, or I could even send that XML to our invoicing and have a different department or a tenant or a user invoiced for utilizing those resources. Okay, so we also have SQL servers. I can add a SQL server, or I can also have a group of servers, and that's how. And then we have a algorithm for determining where a database is applied when you create a new database within our database as a service. So that way you get equal distribution, or you can have a weighted distribution as well. Okay. Here we have these different plans. I wanted to show you that we can also change access to who can manage this plan. I can decommission the plan so that we can have no more users, or I could even make it private so only administrators can access this. Okay, I can even clone the plan, and then I can upgrade the base servers and change the SQL Server groups that the plan is actually utilizing. So if I do a service pack update or something like that, I can just clone it, redirect the group of which the database server, which this plan is, I can redirect the database servers that this plan is applying resources to, and that's how fast I can actually expose a resource into our organization. Okay. You might see that I have Oracle here. Right now we're deploying Oracle VMs, and we're actually able to connect into the VM once it's deployed and actually deploy deploy databases as well. So that's a really nice feature that we're helping customers understand, that not only is Hyper-V designed for the Microsoft stack, but it's also a heterogeneous environment as well, and runs a number of certified Linux environments that are very common in the industry.